All right, so I would really suggest finding a comfortable seat, the most comfortable seat. If it feels good to you to have something beneath you, you can do that or not, if it's better not to. Notice if you want to sit back against something, whatever works for you. It doesn't matter as long as you're feeling supported. That's kind of the message of feeling supported here. And so what we want in the world of lungs and breathing and breath, um, is, first of all, with illness, we want to really get into the musculature of what is available for us, to build that up and just to bring some awareness to that. And then also, of course, with it kind of goes hand in hand with anxiety and other things as well, because as we all know, the more we breathe into the chest, the more anxiety can come from that. It becomes this like spiral. Um, so what we're first going to do is work on the intercostals. I should probably move back, or go down a little bit. Move on the intercostal muscles, which are these little muscles that go in between all of our ribs and go in both directions. And because of the way we live our life, we're often in a linear way. We're not moving side to side. We're reaching out. So we're going to bring some concentration first to start into those muscles right here, right in between the rib cage. And so again, finding that nice tall spine. And let's just find some ease in our body, whatever that looks like. So your eyes might close, or you might find a soft gaze. And just bringing awareness to the breath. Nice. And then just to kind of show our bodies, let's start to round in. We're going to round in and then try and take a deep breath in. And notice what that feels like. And it seems obvious, right? Because we always say it. And then start to lengthen the spine and let the shoulders just drop down. And then take that same breath in. So noticing a little bit more space here. And so what we can do is first, as long as your arms, oh, we've got Carla here. Nice. Hi, Carla. Hopefully you can hear me. What we can first start to do is get into the intercostals in the side body. So you can use your hands if you'd like. We can bring a little bit of movement into the practice. Maybe bringing the left hand down onto the ground and bringing the right arm up. And you can even just rest your hand on your head. So we're, not creating any tension and fatigue in the neck. But we're kind of leaning off to our left side. And as we do, you can either imagine somebody's hand right at your right rib cage. You can even place your hand there for a moment to get the feedback and then place your left hand back on the ground. And then start to breathe into that side body. So if there was a hand at the left rib cage, breathing so you're pressing it away. Keeping the right sit bone grounded to the earth. And so we're gently stretching out the intercostals here. Checking in with your jaw that we're not gritting our teeth. We're just gently breathing into our right side body. Beautiful. And then we can release that side and just come on up to center. And then you might roll through your shoulders, bring any intuitive movement into your neck. Nice. And then we can come to the other side. So the right hand would come down on the ground. And you can start, if you'd like, with your other hand, left hand on the rib cage, grounding the left sit bone into the earth, and breathing into this left lung, the left rib cage, opening up the ribs, expanding the ribs, and maybe bringing your hand again to your head. You can also, of course, stretch it up and over. But what's nice about having your hand on your head is you don't get a sore neck. You're supporting the neck. And some of the more that we can work the muscles that support the lungs, the less the lungs have to do to work. So if there's any illness, anything from allergies to a common cold, to any lung diseases, long COVID, nice. Take one more breath there. Beautiful. And then we can release that left hand coming up to center. And once again, feel free to roll through the shoulders. Nice. And so with different illnesses that we can get, what we're doing when we're breathing is there's these little tiny sacs, the alveoli. And so that's what's taking in our breath, right? And through that, we're working on the exhale versus the inhale. So if you think about it, when you go to inhale, if you're trying to take a really big breath through the inhale, oftentimes we can start to cough, and our body, the nervous system that's where everything can start to tense up. And if instead we give the exhale this space and this room and this power, it also will then tap into the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and create ease for anxiety, right? So let's just start to find some even breaths. Just soft, even breath. And we're going to begin to start to learn to lengthen through the exhale. And so how we're going to do this is a breath where we're going to inhale through the nose. And I kind of like to call it the flicker breath. And we're going to exhale through the mouth, through kind of like pursed lips, as if you're not blowing out a candle, but you're trying to make this candle flicker. So that's how gentle we're blowing out this or at this candle. So a gentle inhale through the nose. And then you can purse your lips and slowly release the air, like you're trying to make a candle flicker. You can continue at your pace. This is also, especially in this heat, this is a really nice way to cool yourself. And so what we're doing, so these little sacs, they also can lose their elasticity through age, but often through illness. And this will work them. This is something that can increase, that can get better, that can support us. Let's do another round. Gently flickering. Beautiful. And then we can release that. And just observing. It's always really nice to observe and feel the effects, if any, that you're getting from a specific practice. Beautiful. And so the next thing we can do is get into actually an acupressure point and get into the movement of some chi in our body. So we can start by taking our left hand and just bringing it around the upper arm. So your thumb is available. And for your thumb, we're just going to press into the soft space. Use my other hand just to show it on the chest. And you're going to massage there, and it might feel really tender. And it doesn't matter which hand you're doing first. We're going to do both sides. And so chi, right, is the movement of energy in our body. And things can get clogged, if you will. So just this gentle massaging in this space. And if it hurts, if it's sore, it's telling you that it needs a little bit of attention here. So just using your thumb to press. There's no really wrong spot, but you'll feel no matter where you are in this soft space, you'll get it. You'll find it. You'll hit on it. And then we can go to the other side. So whatever side that is for you. Nice. And then we can release that and then notice. And sometimes just the noticing of this is maybe the annoyance of pushing in on a sensitive spot and you're not anymore. Or you might feel some kind of release. So just taking that moment to observe that. Beautiful. And then from there, we're going to also come into the diaphragm, which we all know about in terms of it being one of the main breathing muscles. And it's actually a little bit higher than some people think about. You know, it's that dome-shaped muscle. And if you were to kind of dig your fingers right at the crest of the rib cage, you know, that's where it's sitting. So this is another place that you might want to gently massage. Of course, if laying down might be a little bit easier to get to, but it can get adhesions. If you've had any kind of abdominal surgery, I think I heard a case where someone had, you know, very extreme scoliosis where the spine was turned in so much. And by doing this every day, not only did it help with the breathing and soften through many surgeries this woman had, it started to open and lengthen her spine. So this is something that you can absolutely do that can be helpful. Nice. And then from here, we can take this right into the belly breathing that I'm sure all of us have done before. So you can either rest your hands at your belly, you can rest your hands at your side, whatever's most comfortable here. And for the belly breathing, instead of really concentrating again on that inhale of blowing up your belly into this big, large balloon, we're going to bring a little bit more awareness again into the exhale. So on the inhale, let's just gently take that breath in. And we're going to take that breath in, as deep down into the belly as you can. You might feel your hands get some feedback from the breath, but we're not looking to do anything extreme. And then on the exhale, we're going to exhale from the pubic bone up, really drawing all the way up and in. So exercising the diaphragm muscle there, right? And then letting the inhale come as naturally as you can into the belly. And on the exhale, drawing up and in from the pubic bone. And let's just continue like that. Let that inhale be soft and received. And the exhale is where the more efforting is. So on the inhale, the diaphragm is dropping down. And on the exhale is where it's lifting. So as we lift up, we're really helping it along as we draw in the energy from the pelvis, from the pubic bone, up and in. And once again, we are speaking right to our nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. We're activating the vagus nerve. Allowing for that rest and digest. Let's take one more cycle like this. The belly just expands gently on its own. We're not pressing anything. And on the exhale, it's that in and up. And then releasing that breath. Taking that moment to observe, once again, bringing any movement you'd like into your body, maybe your shoulders, your neck. Beautiful. And then the next breath I want to just talk about, and it's talking more about a pose in yoga that we're not going to do right now, but kind of I'll show it and mimic it. And it's a pose that I find very difficult personally to get into in its fullest form as things are described in the world of yoga sometimes. And that's fish pose. So fish pose can be one of the most beneficial to our entire system. So what we can do, depending on how you're seated, is perhaps bring your hands behind you, maybe tenting the fingers and drawing the shoulder blades together. So we're activating the kidney in this breathing practice. We're going to activate the thymus and the thyroid. We're giving so much space to the diaphragm. And then perhaps trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And if it's comfortable for you, and anyone who's practiced with me, I'm not one to ever tell people to lift the chin up, but maybe find a place that does feel comfortable. So I'm not going to crank all the way back because that's not comfortable for me, but I will lift it a little bit. Drawing the shoulder blades together. And we breathe here. And we're not trying too hard. We're feeling the breath. You might feel it, feel the diaphragm space. You might feel it through the rib cage. Through the chest. But in a hopefully really slow, easy way versus chest breathing where we can become really almost shortness of breath, right? And creating that negative cycle, this is creating space. Almost feel as though someone's trying to lift you up through the sternum. Beautiful. Let's take one more breath here. And then slowly releasing the hands. You might open and close your fingers. Maybe rolling through your wrists and again your shoulders, anything intuitive that feels right for you. That's my beautiful. And so I'm also going to offer us another practice that it's not so much that it does have something to do with, it has a lot to do with breathing, but it's not a breathing practice. Very often we are holding a lot of tension and stiffness and through the neck and through the shoulders, right? So I found this, I've been doing all kinds of studies recently on the neck and the shoulders and with breath work, but a lot more about tension and through the neck. Because there's a lot of things out there that we do that actually can be somewhat harmful. And so I learned this crazy trick that really works. And so we'll give it a try. You'll check it out and see what it's like for you. I got major ahas out of a class recently. I think it was kind of nutty. So what we're going to do right now, we are kind of relaxed, or hopefully we are kind of relaxed. So you might have a bigger range of motion than how do we come into this cold. But what we're going to do is just turn your head to your left and just find your focus point. Find where your edge, your neck is saying, yeah, I'm not going any further. Remember that point. I can see I'm looking at this corner of a chair, and that's where it is comfortably. And just stopping there. And then we're going to turn our head to the opposite direction. And again, finding that point on the other side. So I see a roller that I'm staring at, and I'm going to remember that. And then we'll bring the head back to center. And that's it. We're not working on the neck there at all. So in this crazy trick, we're going to take our hands, our fingers, and we're going to bring it to our ears. So I've got like kind of my thumb behind my ear. I've got my index finger inside of it through all that cartilage, and we're going to massage. We're going to circle. It's going to sound crunchy, and we're going to tug and make all kinds of pretty big movements. A woman asked me after, was I doing it wrong, even though it worked? Should I have been massaging my neck? No, we are just in the ears. So we're just rolling. I'm kind of pulling. I wouldn't say hard, it doesn't hurt, but I'm definitely giving it some action there. Beautiful. And then you can let that go. And then we're going to start with whatever hand. I'll start with that's really my right, but it looks like my left hand. And I'm going to take my other hand on my thumb, and I'm going to start just circling my thumb around, pulling it, circling it, then go to your index finger, pulling, circling every finger. And what they taught me was that you don't have to we're going to do 3 different exercises for this, but you don't have to do all 3, that it still works. And what we're working on is the chain of fascia. So fascia is what connects and holds our bones, our tendons, our nerves, our muscles. We'll go to the other side. So this is the end of this sleeve, is our fingers that we're working on right now, of this fascia sleeve, if you will. Beautiful. Once you finish all your fingers, then we go right to the wrist. So we're going to start with whatever hand and just let the wrist go, let the hand go. And what you're going to do is take the opposite hand and cuff your forearm and feel like you're pulling your skin down. You're not going to move your hand, but feel like you're trying to pull your skin down towards your elbow. And as you're pulling your skin down towards your elbow, you're going to start to bring your hand up towards the sky, start to open the fingers and stretch it back as much as you can. Again, we're opening that chain of our fascia here, and then releasing that. Do the same thing on the other side. Let the wrist go. Opposite hand cuffs your wrist or your forearm, no specific place. We're going to pull that hand down towards your elbow and then slowly start to open the hand, spread the fingers, and bring them back as far as they'll go. Beautiful. And then release it all. So I think we've done all 3, right? We did the ears, the fingers. Yep. So here we go. Let's turn the head. Oh my God. I'm like amazed every time I do it. I'm like almost 2 feet beyond where I was looking. And then turn to the other side. The power of movement, right? Of fascia is just incredible. And then come back to center. And what's wonderful, right? You can do this as many times a day as you like. You can try doing one and not the other. And neck movement, tension, that gives us, space to breathe, right? So that alone can help with anxiety and so much that we hold up here. So I hope that for all of you is super helpful. Let's end on just one more breathing practice, which is alternate nostril breathing. And what I like to offer for that one is always to be able to do it with or without your hand, because so many times we're in a place where we don't want to sit there and use our hand. We're feeling the anxiety, we're feeling the buildup, but sitting there doing alternate nostril breathing might not be comfortable for you. So if you want to do it without your hand, we can do that first. I can always then add in the hand if you'd like to. And so maybe the eyes close or they're opened at a soft gaze, and just envision breathing in through the right nostril and breathing out through the left. Tracing it with your eyes, breathing in through the left nostril And breathing out through the right. Again, breathing in through the right. Out through the left. In through the left. And out through the right. Now you can continue this as I'm just going to talk for a moment. I had a client use this who was going in for surgery that she had to be awake for. And because of doing this without your hands and using eye movement, there's so many studies on eye movement that you may or may not have heard of, that also can really help our nervous system, help desensitize emotion. So as I'm doing this, I'm kind of rolling my eyes as I'm like watching the breath go back and forth. And of course, if you want to use your hands, I tend to use my thumb and fourth finger and maybe closing that right nostril, breathing in through the left, closing the left, breathing out through the right, inhaling through the right, then closing that right, exhaling through the left. And continuing on that pattern. And whenever you feel ready, coming back to your natural breath. I invite you to take a gentle breath in through the nose. And you might again with pursed lips, like you're flickering a candle, slowly just let that air out to that candle. Beautiful. And then just notice how you feel. Take that moment to observe. Nice. So I thank you all so much for being here, for coming today. It's always so nice seeing all of you. I hope you have a beautiful day. I do have this recording. I'll put it up on, although I wonder if, as long as it's all on me and not on you guys, I'll put it up on YouTube. So I'll just check into that. Oh, good.
That was
good,
great.
good.
I needed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was very good. Thank you so much.
Oh, my
Yes.
pleasure. My pleasure. Love sharing these things.
And the
Wonderful.
neck thing was weird because it does work.
How bizarre is that?
Yes.
I know when the woman was teaching, she's like, "You're just not going to believe this." I mean, she was so funny about it. I was like, we're in this whole intense thing, and she's like, "All right, guys, I've got like a magic trick here," and everybody was like, "It's such an aha."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, you
do
were
that.
working the fascial chain of your body, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. So
Find this YouTube. Will it come in?
share it, use it. What's that?
Where will we find this YouTube that you're going to send?
Yes. Where can you find it? Is that what you said? I'll send you my link. I'll
Thank you.
send it to you.
Thank you.
Of course, anytime. Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful day. Stay cool, whatever you do.
Bye-bye.
Hydrate, breathe.
Right. Thanks.
Thank
Be
you.
well, everybody. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye.